Hi, these comments are for RR. I am Michael from OTC, OnlineTOEFLCourse.com, and you're doing writing and speaking practice today. I'm going to give you feedback first with the writing, and then I'll listen to your speaking practice test and give you some feedback on that. Okay, so here's the rubrics, the IBT rubrics. This is what you wrote, so I gave you a 3.75 out of 5, or 24 points out of 30. So overall, I think you have good organization. You have a thesis in there. Everything's looking pretty good. There were some problems with language use, with what I call consistent facility with your sentence structure, grammar, and so on. So let me show you one paragraph. The perfect neighbor should. Yeah, I don't know why you're using passive voice here. I don't think it's needed. Just say. You can say either help others, or you can say advocate for others, especially when disasters occur, because they're the closest people. I'm going to say here who, not which, because we use who to refer to people and which to refer to things, who could offer a fast response. To illustrate, 20 years ago when I lived in Alberta, Canada, a catastrophic earthquake of 8.2 put on the Richter, you're thinking in Spanish here, we would just say Richter scale, destroyed our city. I think albeit is typically used as a preposition, not what we call it's typically not used as subordinating conjunction. I'm going to change this to although. Now this one I'm not 100% certain on, so anybody at YouTube, can you guys, if you want to Google albeit and although, is this more of a preposition, or can it be used as a subordinating conjunction? I'm thinking that it cannot. So if anybody thinks that I'm wrong here, go ahead and make a comment below in the YouTube video, below the video here. So what's the difference between albeit and although? Although my house was not utterly demolished by the earthquake, it was in a deplorable condition. However, this awful situation was softened thanks to the colossal support of a neighbor who told me that everything would be fine, gave me a hug, offered food. He told me everything would be fine. He told me I'm going to make these, I think this makes it a little bit more parallel. I think this is going to work better. Let's look at it now. The colossal support of a neighbor who told me that everything would be fine, who gave me a hug, and who offered food in his house to stay until my place was repaired, so I did not feel grieved for my house's condition. This clearly shows that it's crucial to have a helpful adjacent neighbor. The only problem is, I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't add up, what you're saying. It's not logical. If you had an 8.2 earthquake in your neighborhood, every house will be equally destroyed. I don't see how one house would be better than another, but maybe it was built better. Usually earthquakes are fairly uniform in the damage in a certain area. Now it is possible, like tornadoes and things, it might not be like that. But who am I to doubt your story, right? This clearly shows it's crucial to have a helpful adjacent neighbor who extends a hand in the worst situations. So that would be my main thing is if I go through every paragraph, I do have to make some corrections, but you had pretty good control for the most part over your grammar, even though there's a few changes that you need to correct. And it does say in the rubrics in the 3 area, displays facility, may demonstrate inconsistent facility in sentence formation and word choice, but you also do some things very well in the 4 area. So that's why I'm going to put you at 375 out of 5. I have the independent speaking rubrics here, and I'm getting ready to listen to your practice test. So the question here is, describe a situation in which you had difficulties. Who helped you find a solution? Then give examples and reasons to illustrate your ideas. Okay, so let's see how you answer this.
When I was in a bad situation was my father. When I started the university, I took Math 1, in which the professor was really difficult.
Let me listen to that introduction one more time.
The person who helped me when I was in a bad situation was my father. When I started the university, I took Math 1, in which the professor was really difficult, but I didn't care because I was excellent at the subject too. In the first test, I got 15 points out of 20. I was so happy, and I decided that I would get the same grade in the second test, since if I got a cumulative of 30 points, I would not have to take the last test. Consequently, I studied for almost 3 weeks, but I scored 8 points out of 20. I was devastated, but my father motivated me to continue with it.
Okay, so you're having a little bit of trouble with the word. I thought you said 50, but you're saying 15 points out of 20. That's what you said initially, right? So be careful about your numbers of 10 and numbers of teens. So you have 1330, 1440, 1550, 1660, 1770, 1880, 1990. So be careful about the word stress with those numbers, and then the word devastated. Now, I need to check your language use here a little bit more.
I studied for almost 3 weeks, but I scored 8 points out of 20. I was devastated, but my father motivated me to continue with the career and with the...
So if you say I was devastated, maybe say something like, however, my father motivated me.
Worse, and I got an excellent grade in the last test. The person who helped me when I was in a bad situation.
Yeah, but what grade did you get on that? You kind of ran out of time on that. So I think on this one, let's take a look at the rubrics. I'm going to put you in the 3 areas. Speech is generally clear with some fluidity of expression. You have some minor difficulties. I think with tone, you need to vary your tone a little more. I think some minor problems with pacing. You can work on improving that. That's thought groups and blending, pronunciation lessons 41 through 44. Language use, I think you maybe had 1 or 2 small problems with your grammar in there. I think I recommended, however, putting that in there to help show the contrast. Even though you're devastated, your father was able to motivate you to score higher on the next test. Topic development was pretty good. You had some trouble managing the last part of the response. You kind of ran out of time on that, so that might be a weakness there. So you have to figure, okay, how much can you actually say and then support with details. I'm going to give you a score here between 2.5 and 3. I'm going to say maybe 20 to 21 points out of 30 on this practice test.